Guys, Pastor Greg Locke here. I guess you've seen by now that tomorrow's front cover for the New York Daily News is simply this: God isn't fixing this. And then on the front page there, with that heading, they have several tweets of GOP candidates that have offered their prayers for the tragic situation taking place today in California. Let me say something. Why do we always assume that it's God's fault? God made everything perfect. He handed humanity the keys to the car, and we put it in the ditch. And yet, we're going to stand back idly as believers in the gospel of Jesus Christ and simply allow this kind of foolishness to take place? This is an absolute belittlement of biblical Christianity. If there was something on the front page that was disparaging to Allah, to Muhammad, there's no way they would try to offend Islam. And yet they openly offend Christians. Why? Because we're so passive. Because we sit around and we say, well, you know, Jesus says that we should turn the other cheek. Are you kidding me? Don't take Scripture out of context to make the Bible say something that it doesn't. We have to stand up for what is right. Paul said, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. Matter of fact, he was so unashamed of it that he stood up against a wicked political system until they cut his head off to stop him. And so I say to the New York Daily News, shame on you. This country was founded on Christian principles. Whether you like that and admit that or not, it was founded on prayer. Men of God prayed for God's protection and divine providence to be upon this country. And yet the liberals want to spin it, oh, it's about gun control. Let's take everybody's guns. Hey, I believe in gun control. Using both hands. That's the control we need. All these shootings are taking place in these gun-free zones where liberals won't let people carry in them. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not a gun issue. It's a humanity issue. It's a heart issue. And yet as a believer, I'm not going to sit back passively and say, well, it's okay for you to disparage the name of God. No, how about on Friday you put on the front page that Muhammad is no good, that Allah has no power? That would be a decry like you would not believe. But it's okay to do it to biblical Christianity? Wrong answer, Jack. I'm not going to stand for it. Shame on you. You ought to take the paper, throw it in the garbage can, and you ought to apologize to the American people, because regardless of what you say, your money still says, in God we trust. If you don't believe that, then quit spending money. It's time we speak up and speak out. Stand up and stand out. We're living in days of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Everybody's bowing down to the golden calf of political correctness, but I'm not going to be one of them. I am not going to be one of them. You can unlike my page all day long and threaten me with anything you jolly well please, but I'm here to tell you, believers have got to stand up. So that was a stupid move, New York Daily News, saying God's not fixing this. Well, guess what? Joke's on you, because guess what I preached on at my church tonight? Jesus is going to fix it. It may get crazy and hairy and all hell may break loose, but there's going to come a time that it's going to get so bad, in fact, that Jesus is going to come again and set the whole thing in order. And that's going to happen whether you believe it or not, deny it or not, or like it or not. So you better get ready, because it's coming to a town near you. And know this, regardless of what the front page of your foolish paper says, God is one day going to fix it all.